Hi there, my name is Giovanni, and I'm going to answer a few questions considering my internship in Singapore. The reason why I wanted to come here was actually a little bit strange, because at first I wanted to go to Japan, but Japan proved really difficult, and in the end they helped me find a place in Singapore, which I was also satisfied with, and I'm really enjoying now. The experience and how I experienced the service they gave me, it was good. Quick replies. When you had a question, they would get back to you very soon, and if you had any trouble or issues, they would help you in any way possible. What I've learned so far is good question. uh, you should really think about the internship before you do it. There's a lot to it, and you have to make sure all your things are right. So you have a good place to stay. It's a good company you're working at to avoid issues in the future when you arrive here. The thing that was most difficult so far was probably my housing. At first, I stayed with the company I'm working at, but that place was really not to my liking, so we had to act quickly and find a different place where I could stay. The differences I've noticed so far between Singapore and my home country, the Netherlands, are big. It's so different in Asia altogether, and you really can't compare it. People are act differently. In general, they are, to my opinion, way nicer, and public transport works differently, better, and the climate is also really, really different. That's actually pretty hard if you're not used to the hot, humid weather. If I would like to advise other students to come to Singapore, yes and no. If you think the change is too big for you and in general you have little to nothing with Asia, it's best you find a place somewhere else. But if you think you can cope with the whole change of culture, Singapore is a really great place because there's a lot of culture here, because you've got all the different people from all around Asia living here. So it's a big mesh of a lot of cultures. So I think the type of student that would fit in good would be someone who's good in English, because everybody talks English here, and isn't afraid for a big culture shock. My experiences outside the office are pretty good. As I said, public transport in Singapore is really great, so you can get everywhere with the MRT, train, bus, whatever. And there's enough to see. It's a big city, but you can cross from one side to the other in a very short time. But even though there's a lot to see. Financially, compared to Europe and probably America, it's not that expensive. You can get food really cheap. Most stuff in stores are cheaper as well. Riding the train isn't expensive, but still you have to watch your money. And the best thing to do is just be careful. Don't spend too much in a hurry, and just wait until something is cheaper, and just try to eat at the food courts, because the food there is so cheap. You can get a meal for so less instead of going to a normal restaurant, because that's just way too expensive. Let's see if there's anything else. no, that should be it. If you're going to Singapore and you think you'll like the Asian culture, I'm sure you will have a great time. Bye.